Angel Reese uncovers the truth behind Caitlin Clark's big move to Europe. Addressing the buzz, Angel dismisses rumors and claims Caitlin's decision is purely financial, but in true Angel fashion, she couldn't let Caitlin's European contract slide without making a splash. What does she do? She steps in and takes over the narrative.
The fuck is that headline all about?
Yeah.
Yep,
she is the worst fucking basketball player.
The WNBA has never seen quite like this amid her own steroids scandal. Reese stirs the pot by taking shots at Caitlin Clark. She accuses players of chasing paychecks and even claims they use racism as a ploy for sympathy. It's a bold move in a league that thrives on competition, but Reese is making sure all eyes are on her.
People talk about Caitlin getting hate, but someone sat down and spent hours putting together an 8-minute video with interlude clips all to trash Angel. Why?
But when the entitled complaints are coming from Angel Reese, it makes news throughout the mainstream media.
It's obvious Reese is directing all this at Caitlin Clark. The crazy thing, Caitlin has never said anything negative about Reese or any other black player. Yet for some reason it feels like today is one of those days where some people just don't deserve the silent treatment.
Blah, blah, blah. From Angel Reese.
Let's be real, Caitlin Clark heading to Europe isn't just about exploring a new scene or chasing a bigger paycheck. It's her way of escaping the toxic circus the WNBA has become. At first glance, the league might seem like the perfect stage for a player like her built to dominate, but in reality it was becoming a nightmare. Instead of just sinking shots, she was navigating scandals and dodging side eyes like it was all part of the playbook.
Entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve.
And why all this chaos? Because Caitlin Clark chose to stay silent while others try to paint her as the villain. Some of her fellow athletes, and even a few media figures, went as far as labeling her a racist. Seriously, where do they even get this stuff? But true to her cool-headed nature, Clark never took the bait. She didn't waste time addressing these outlandish claims. She stayed locked in on what truly matters: basketball. Still, the drama around her spiraled like the plot of a bad reality show refusing to die down.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans.
Alyssa Thomas, clearly uninterested in keeping the peace, decided to pour gasoline on the fire. She publicly blamed Caitlin Clark for racist remarks made by her fans. Yes, you read that correctly. Thomas acted like Clark somehow had control over what random people in the stands were saying. It's a wild accusation that only added more chaos to the drama.
I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
Absurd, right? This wasn't about anything Clark did or said. Nope, it was Thomas trying to redirect the spotlight away from her own struggles. She bundled up her frustrations, jealousy, and whatever else she was dealing with into a neat little accusation and hurled it straight at Clark.
Then she had a press conference where she cried and everybody's so mean to me. Well, she's continued the stupidity. I mean, she cheered on her teammate as she shoved Caitlin Clark, knocked Caitlin Clark in the head, and a bunch of other stupid stuff.
Here's the thing, Caitlin didn't need to do anything wrong to become a target. The love she got from fans, her name dominating highlight reels, and headlines that alone sparked a jealousy wildfire in the WNBA. And it wasn't just online trolls, it was players she shared the court with. Instead of celebrating her brilliance, some just couldn't handle it.
It's unacceptable, honestly. And yeah, there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Angel Reese had her own time in the spotlight, no doubt, but let's be real, Caitlin Clark's rise was on another level, and it was clear Reese wasn't thrilled about it. While Clark was becoming the face of the league, Reese was on the sidelines watching the spotlight pass her by. It didn't take long for resentment to start building. These players had spent years grinding, hoping for the kind of love Caitlin Clark was getting, and here Clark was a rookie, effortlessly snatching it all up instead of stepping up their game. Some chose to let jealousy take over. Suddenly, everything Clark did was under the microscope, with any tiny reason to tear her down being grabbed with both hands. But who gives a rat's at? That's why Europe feels like a sweet escape for Caitlin Clark. It's not just about playing in a different league with a new vibe, it's about breathing air free from the toxic fumes the WNBA had been sending her way. The jealousy, the petty accusations, the constant drama, it had nothing to do with basketball anymore. And Clark knew it. She didn't owe anyone another second of her time in that mess.
No, it's going to Caitlin Clark fans are mean. And if Caitlin Clark fans are mean and they're white, where does this head? Oh, you know it goes to racist.
While critics are busy stoking the fire, Caitlin Clark is miles ahead, doing what she does best, letting her game speak louder than all the noise. Her decision to go to Europe over the WNBA offseason says it all. I don't need to stick around for this nonsense. The toxic atmosphere in the WNBA had nothing to do with basketball anymore. It was just a jealousy-fueled frenzy with players and commentators trying to tear her down, not because of what she did, but because of how the world embraced her for them. That was the real crime. Now Reese is trying to shift the narrative. The fans of Indiana are already picking sides, and Reese isn't holding back. She went on record claiming that Clark's European decision had nothing to do with escaping the WNBA's toxic environment. Nope, according to Reese, it was all about chasing the big bucks. Forget the toxic teammates and dirty play accusations. Reese insists it's just a front, but let's pause for a second. Is this really about money, or is Reese trying to distract from her own mess? Reese's name has been plastered all over the headlines thanks to her steroid scandal, and now her career is dangling by a thread. When you're that deep in your own issues, it's easier to point fingers at someone else than face your own baggage. Instead of owning up to being busted for performance enhancer, Reese decided to drag Caitlin Clark into the mess. Clark's rise to prominence was a direct threat to Reese, and she couldn't handle it. After winning the national title, Reese mocked Clark and refused to celebrate with her teammates. She made it personal, but Reese didn't stop there. She went full throttle, implying that every player in the WNBA, including Clark, was just in it for the money. The irony is almost too much to bear. This is coming from a player whose career imploded after she was caught juicing to get in edge. It's classic deflection. Reese is drowning in her own scandal, and instead of taking accountability, she's trying to keep the focus on Clark. Let's not forget the timeline. Clark's European move was announced in mid-October 2024, right as the WNBA season wrapped up. Meanwhile, Reese was already getting roasted over her steroid suspension, with her reputation in shambles. By the time Clark was prepping for Europe, Reese had already been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons: steroids, EPO, anabolic drugs, you name it. Her career was toast. Instead of owning her mess, Reese tried to turn the focus to Clark, accusing her of being the greedy one. It's laughable when you realize Reese's entire notoriety stems from her rivalry with Clark. From mocking her to making personal attacks, Reese's deflection only highlights her hypocrisy, as the public and analysts have pointed out. From Stephen A. Smith to Patrick Bet David, the truth is Reese's downfall didn't start with Clark's European trip. It started when those steroid allegations hit the news in early September 2024. As the WNBA world flipped upside down, Reese got suspended, her coach was fired, and the Chicago Sky even hit her with a lawsuit. Meanwhile, Clark stayed focused on her game, quietly racking up wins. Reese couldn't handle watching Clark succeed. The timing of her attacks on Clark is no coincidence. Reese's career was in free fall, and the worse things got for her, the more she took shots at Clark. Angel Reese may be playing the villain role, but Caitlin Clark is the hero, and it's clear Reese is leaning into this drama, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Remember when Reese was considered a rising star? Those days seem like a lifetime ago. Now she's known more for getting caught with steroids than anything she did on the court.